Claude asked me a question that I wanted to answer. They're starting a t-shirt line and want to attach it to a charity. There's been a couple models like this. The most famous and probably one of the most successful that really just kind of comes to mind is Tom's Shoes. So you should all know what Tom's Shoes is. If it gets less popular in the future and you're clicking on this, Tom's Shoes launched with a model. Well, first of all, the cost of the styling of the shoe is very simple. Typically with footwear, you have mold charges for the sole and then uppers. So you would commit to a sole and then different construction for the uppers. That's a little bit more for the shoe heads. But in any case, what Tom's did is he created a simple shoe where you're able to change the styling of it in terms of the models that he offers. And each pair of shoe you bought, he would donate to a child that needs a pair of shoes. So fixed within the cost of purchasing a pair of shoes, you're giving a pair of shoes to someone who might need it. It's very smart. If you know the history of the founder of Tom's, he started a laundry service, a delivery laundry service in college. Really smart business guy and entrepreneur. That actually set off a bunch of people that wanted to do pro-social clothing lines and that sort of thing. And I've worked with a lot of clothing lines that give back to a chosen charity and do fundraising events and pop-up shops that are affiliated to fundraising and that sort of thing. Me personally, I think it's a good thing. The reason Tom's is a really good example is you can reach people who have a wealthier socioeconomic situation and they feel good about buying it, and it's still, you know, it's dope product, it's chic, it's very stylish. There's a two-part of it. Like, you feel good about shopping and buying something new, and then the pro-social aspect of it is so, it's kind of an idea that's so transparent, it actually drives sales really well. So I'm talking from two different parts, both as a humanitarian, I suppose, and as a businessman that wants to also move units. The cool thing about that is that the identity of and the heritage of the brand is already linked into what you're doing for other people. So people feel extra good about, one, working with you, two, buying your product. There's kind of like a social lean that goes towards it. Now, having said that, there's a lot of people that I think are doing the charity thing wrong, and it ends up being like charity dinners or something where it's, you know, and I'm not down charity dinners where you're buying, you know, $50 a plate. I feel like you show up to the gala and you drink wine and it's like, oh, okay, well, I kind of did something good. For the aforementioned points, I think the way Tom's attacked charity was brilliant, because you kind of buy into that as well. You become part of the whole Tom's movement. For Claude, for your t-shirt line, or for anybody that's kind of touching on this topic, you know, I think there's a good idea there if you frame it the right way. If you tie the storyline, it's very simple. If it's for a cause that's very broad as well, something other people can easily identify, helping with doing for good very easily. If that makes sense. I never talk about this, but way before I was into clothing, I volunteered a lot with youth. Part of me speaking now in classrooms is the only kind of outreach I could do with like more than 13 years of experience designing and directing clothing lines. Definitely a model where I want to work with orphanages and the like, and give back in a very real kind of way. In any case, to answer your question, yeah, it's a great idea to tie it into charity. I think in order to make it work for yourself, though, I would think about everything I said with the Tom's model and really try to come up with another revolutionary way, another smart way in order to pitch that, if it's a big part of your line. But charity work, yeah, I'm always a big fan of doing something better in the world rather than just trying to make ourselves look better and stylish. Because if you could accomplish two at the same time, you do a lot of, you know, you definitely make an impact creating style and helping people. Hope that helps. Any other comments and questions and stuff to add to the conversation, drop it below. Thanks for watching.